back home, anyone following the national debate over the treatment of asylum seekers in Australia might assume it's not a topic you'd normally associate with comedy. However, last night the two issues did combine when a book called The Happiest Refugee won 3 prizes at the Australian Book Industry Awards.
The autobiography is by none other than Anh Do, an author, comedian and former refugee who came to Australia by boat after he and his family fled Vietnam. Anh Do joins us now in the studio. Welcome, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, did you expect, when writing The Happiest Refugee, that it'd end in awards?
No, not at all. I really didn't think I could write a book. You know, when I was a kid, I was one of the special needs kids. They told my mum that I would have issues with reading and writing and words, and so she took me to St. Vinny's and bought a big box of second-hand books and worked with me to you know, so I could turn that around, and so I just wrote the book because I just wanted to put down my family story, you know, just in case one day a bus hits me or something, and it's just turned into this wonderful experience. It's been fantastic.
It's a fairly searing account, it's fair to say, of your firstly your journey to Australia and your upbringing in Sydney. Take us through the fact that the very dangerous trip you and your family made on boat from Vietnam to initially Malaysia, of course, very much the focus of the national debate today.
Yeah, well, my family left Vietnam because my father and my uncles fought alongside Aussie soldiers in the Vietnam War. In fact, one of my uncles was a sapper who cleared landmines for Anzacs, you know, and it was a 5-day journey at sea. We attacked by pirates twice. At one point, a pirate dangles a kid over the side of the boat and threatens to throw the baby into the ocean. And at the last minute, he lets the kid live. And that's a really good thing because that kid is my little brother, Do. And Do grew up to become the 2005 Young Australian of the Year for his charity work. So I'm really proud of my little brother.
You got to Australia, and it's fair to say it was not a perfect childhood for you. Your dad had a problem with the bottle and in fact left home when you were but a teenager.
Yeah, he left home when I was 13, and so I give my mum a lot of credit for you know, for raising us kids. And after the boat trip, we didn't end up in Australia. We ended up in Malaysia, and then Australia assessed our situation and said, you guys fought alongside Aussies, and so come over. My dad was really excited, like we just wanted to go anywhere. And so he went around the island collecting clothes, you know, because he heard about Australia, like beautiful country, friendly people, but really cold. It's near Switzerland somewhere. So he thought we were going to Austria. He really did, and so we turn up in Australia, 30-degree heat, and he's going, Jesus, hot, man. Those people lied to us about the temperature.
Now, you were 2 when you
I was 2,
over?
yeah.
So do you have... How vivid is your memory, or do you hear recounts from
Yeah,
your parents?
I sit around the table with my family, and we're a bunch of storytellers, you know. My wife is Aussie, so she, you know, first time she comes over to my big family dinner, there's 20 Vietnamese talking about pirates and all this stuff, and we're all laughing about it. And my wife's like, what a bunch of crazy people. They're laughing about this really tough stuff, but that's how we deal with it. You know, that's my uncle, one of my uncles, the pirates attacked. He was a 15-year-old kid, and he was so scared he wet himself. And, you know, a few weeks ago, his daughters said, we just hired out Blair Witch Project. And my other uncle said, no, don't show your dad that, right? When your dad gets scared, he'll wet himself. So they're still paying him out. He's a 45-year-old man now. They're still giving it to him about when he was 15 on the boat.
Now, having spent some time there as a kid, do you have sympathy for the 90,000-odd refugees who have been assessed as refugees in those camps in Malaysia, wanting to come to countries like Australia?
Yeah, I do. You know, probably they're from war-torn countries, and I can only speak for my family. Because my family had fought alongside Aussies, their lives were in danger, and so yeah, I do have sympathy. How
do you feel when you see this topic debated in the media? There's quite strong opinions on all sorts of sides. How do you feel? Like, how do you think it's portrayed in the media, even?
I think the figure is something like, you know, we have 200,000 immigrants a year, and I think, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 refugees. It's a bigger issue than I thought it would be, you know, at roughly 1 to 2% of intake of, you know, immigrants into Australia.
Yeah, well, from that beginning, you launched into a law degree at a Sydney university. then into comedy. How did that come about?
Yeah, I finished a 5-year law degree and I'm in this interview with this lawyer and he says, you'll be doing about 65, 70 hours a week, you know. I thought, well, no problem. And I was doing stand-up as a hobby and I asked an old comedian, how many hours a week do you work? And he said, 4. 4 versus 65, Michael. I went, I'm going to go there 4 hours. But he didn't tell me about all the writing hours and everything else.
And hard yards. You also started off with some interesting people in your audience, I believe.
Yeah. I asked the old comics, and one guy said, "Do the hard gigs, man. They make you stronger." And so I'm, you know, one time I found myself in front of 50 bikies who were waiting for strippers to come on. That's a very hard gig, and very hard, but it teaches you how to be very funny very fast.
I'm sure you were. Now, after the success of your book, I believe you've recently got a phone call from a certain internationally known Australian actor. Tell us
I get
about
this
it.
call and his voice says, "Hello, Arne, it's Russell Crowe." And I'm thinking, John, no, you idiot. That sounds nothing like Russell. Lucky I didn't say it out loud because it really was Russell. And he told me he really enjoyed the book. And so Russell's optioned the film rights to the movie of The Happiest Refugee, and I'm writing the screenplay, so it's all very exciting.
Wow, he'd be a pretty hard taskmaster, Russell.
No, he's a great guy. Yeah. I said to him I'd love to play the role of my father in the movie. And,
which must mean a lot to you.
It means, it would be the greatest thing for me.
Well, well done. Well-deserved win last night, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing the movie.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Thanks very much for joining us.